Okay, so this project today is dealing with water again. Instead of irrigating our blueberries, we're going to irrigate our chickens. So what I have is the chicken coop. This is back of the chicken coop here. Two different roof lines, two different angles. So we're just taking some of the real cheap vinyl guttering you can get at a box store. So this is the cheap stuff. It's kind of funny, the guttering is only $4 for a 10-foot length, so it's really cheap. But all the pieces you need to hang it and cap it and do all that, that's where all the money is. You know, $6 or $7 a piece, so that's where they get you. But got our first piece of gutter hung. And I'm just going to simply just have one end cap, just let it drain down into the other. And then the other will come to the end here, coming toward the camera. And we'll simply drain down. It's going to be open as well. So it'll just drain out. And I'll just have a 90-degree right into the bucket. I've already got my 2-inch adapter in the bucket screwed in here. So just a 90, and then I'll probably do a Y flipped over, so it'll be kind of like an overflow drain. The reason why I'm not plumbing it directly in is I want to be able to take it apart easily. In fact, I probably won't glue all the seams, but I want to be able to take it apart easily. And I also just want to have a mesh. This I've got an adapter that goes from a 2-inch to a 3-inch, so it'll be almost like a little funnel. And I'll just put some screen over that to be a filter, because we've got tons of trees here. We'll have a lot of leaves, a lot of pollen, all that stuff. So that filter will drain that. We'll strain that out, and of course run straight into the barrel. And that keeps it from being pressurized, keeps it, all those issues there. And of course the barrel is already plumbed to go around to the chicken water. We've got the bell waters that we use, and we have those in previous videos we've talked about. So that's what we're going to work on today. It's just simply utilize the amount of water that comes off of these roofs and just usually hits the ground. Before, I've been taking a tractor and having to bring another 55-gallon drum in here and gravity feed into this to fill it up. And it would normally last, with 90 chickens, it would normally last right around a month, a little less than a month in the middle of the summer. So with this, we're hoping the amount of rain that we get on a regular basis, then this will become automatic. I won't have to mess with it until winter comes along and we have to deal with freezing temperatures, and then I switch to another setup anyway. So we got our gutter installed, and the thought process is just leave this open, not try to do any downspout or anything like that. And I've got this 2-inch to 3-inch reducer, and we'll just have it be right here. And like I said, I'll have it just low enough that I can get a piece of screen material over and rubber band it or tape it or whatever. Just something there that can be screening that water out as it comes in, and we'll just come down to a 90-degree into the barrel. Now what I also got was just a Y or a T. I never remember which they are, but it's a 2-inch to 1.5-inch. So what I'll do is I'll install that right underneath the I've got enough head space there. Install that right underneath the filler. So majority of the water, of course, will come this way, fill up the barrel. When the barrel fills up, then this will be overflow, and that way I can decide to plumb that somewhere else if I want, or obviously just let it hit the ground. Now, one thing to remember, if these blue food grade barrels, they're everywhere. You can get really good deals on them. Sometimes you get it for 10 bucks, 25 bucks, whatever you can find. So everything is 2-inch. The bung openings are 2-inch, but there's a coarse thread and there's a smooth thread. So this is a smooth thread and that's a coarse thread. It's 2-inch NPT or whatever the initials are. But even this, I've got the smooth thread. I couldn't remember when I was at the box store which end I needed. PVC, of course, they have the smooth thread. I don't even know if they make a coarse thread for that. So that one would obviously thread into this very, very tightly and be watertight if I wanted to go that direction. So I could take the time to take my barrel apart, turn it upside down, have to take the nozzle and put it in the other cap that I have, the yellow cap that's coarse thread. I'm not going to mess with that because that doesn't screw in, but by the time I get it popped in there and tight, that's all I want. Again, we're not trying to be watertight. We're not worried about water hitting the ground. So that's just a nice, good fix. And again, probably not going to glue these pieces together. I'll watch them. If they start to come loose, then I'll have to put glue on them, but I'd rather leave them loose so I can take it apart and get any clogs and do any correction there if I need to. So you're looking at the gutter and piece components here. Of course, not counting the barrel because I already had the barrel, but the gutter and all the pieces and the PVC pipe, I think we had $60 total in expense here. And again, with the amount of rain coming off, this is a 10 by think it's a 10 by 8 roof here, and then that's an 8 by 8 roof. Actually a 9 by 8 roof. So to the square footage there, that should be plenty of water to fill this barrel up, the amount of rain we get throughout the year. So again, unless there's clogs or some issues there, I shouldn't have to service this at all until snow starts blowing in November. All right, so we finished just in time because it's starting to rain. And to keep my camera from getting wet, we're going to test it with a bucket of water. Camera operator, did you hit record there, Liam?
Liam, back up a little because you don't want it to flash the camera.
Okay, so we're going to simulate the rain.
And that's going to come pouring down. You know that's all. Perfect. Yeah. That's not out there. That's good.
What are you guys laughing at? There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
We're getting a little bit of spillage. I can fix that.
It's all coming out the side.
Coming out of the angle. A hydrologist, I am not. I can hear it filling up the tank though. Well, now that warm weather is upon us, now I can put my bell water back in place and not have to worry about it freezing. So since we got the gutter on the chicken coop, we have we have a nice source for water there, so we can put our bell water back in place. And I've done a review on these bell waters, in fact, a long episode ago, I'm not sure, maybe 3 or 4. But it's a really dandy device to have. Really does a good job of watering the chickens. You can keep it pretty clean. Not a lot of issues there. And again, since we've got the water bucket filling up automatically from the rain, then it should be zero maintenance as well. So the way I do this is pretty simple. It's I call it my gallows here. I have my string that's attached to a hook, and then it just hangs from the gallows there. So my gallows may need to be a little adjusted. It's a little shaky. But obviously by just adjusting this adjustment here, I can make the water higher or lower depending on the age of my chicks. And then of course this is where all the magic happens. This is my water line. And this blue water hose, of course, is the hose that runs from around back where our barrel is. I've got these little nails in here that hook it all together. Actually, let me hang it. So I just put those back in place. Rethread my little PVC attachment. Now, the reason why I had to do this PVC attachment is these bell waters come with different types of hookups. This one had a little saddle that you drill a hole into your PVC and you clamp it down. Well, I really didn't want to have PVC. I wanted to go straight from a garden hose, of course. But since I didn't have that, I had to make up a little section of PVC. So no big deal there. Obviously just got a piece of PVC that threads to the water hose. And again, just kind of southern engineer a way for this to hang on here. Then we run some water through it and see what we get. Chickens are excited. Now, one thing you got to watch too on these deals, This specific bell water, this cool, I guess is how it's pronounced. This is your little spring valve. That's what actually makes the water flow. And there's a filter in here. If that filter gets clogged up, then of course you're not going to get a lot of water flow. So I'm just going to hook this up for now, and then we'll prime it and see how it does. Okay, so this is a gravity feed system. So my barrel is only, excuse me, my barrel is only a couple feet higher than this, than my line and everything. So I'm not getting a lot of pressure. So I usually have to get a siphon going. And of course you can see my hose is hanging here. You may wonder, well, why do you have your hose up like that? Well, believe it or not, if I had it pulled over taut, chickens try to roost on it. They try to roost on everything. So if I keep it kind of loose and flimsy here, they won't roost on it. But again, the way this thing works, there's a little plunger here, and when that is pushed in, that opens a valve and allows water to flow. So the way this works, there's a weight here, and as the water fills up this bell, it makes the bell move down. You can see how this is moving down spring-loaded. So as the more water fills this, it gets heavier, so it pushes down, and the valve closes. As the chickens drink the water or it evaporates, then it lifts up and causes this to engage. So how do I get a siphon? Well, not for the faint of heart. No, I cannot suck start a Harley either, if you're wondering. Definitely would not drink that. You can see it's running pretty good there. And it's not going to be a pressure run. It's just going to be a real simple trickle. But that's all we need for our feathered friends here. So there we go. So when I put that in, since it's empty, it should start to fill up. Yeah, so you can see there's some water trickling over the side here. Yep, there it is. There it's running down the back. Of course, the one spot I wasn't looking. So there's running down just a nice basic stream there, real simple. And that'll fill up. So again, this situation, this setup, barring any clogs, I got to get my screen and obviously clean out my barrel a little bit better, but get my screen over my gutter. But this setup really should be zero maintenance in theory for the entire year. We get plenty of rain throughout the course of the year. August, I'll keep an eye on it, but with the chickens that I have, 90 of them, it takes them a month to drink a 55-gallon barrel empty. And of course, when we get puddles and things like that around here, they'll even drink from that, so they won't always be drinking from this water. But this will provide water for them, and again, in theory, should be zero maintenance. Now I'll have to come through and clean it, of course, and make sure there isn't a bunch of grit or whatever in it, or nothing's clogged up the filter. But I keep an eye on it and see how it goes. But it's a pretty good setup. Well, several of you asked about my kit that I used for irrigating the blueberries. 2 episodes ago, we did an episode on gravity feed irrigation for our blueberry patch. And you guys several had inquired about what was I using for the kit, the actual drip heads and things. Well, you can get Rainbird. Rainbird is a good brand. The kit that I got was Coram. And it's the typical Chinese manufactured type stuff. And I will post the link in the description below, and you can look that up. But I got it from Amazon. Got it from Amazon Prime. I think the kit was, boasts 125 pieces or something like that for $25. And it's just a collection of hose, a collection of nozzles, and the connectors, 90-degree connectors and T's and the little stakes and everything. And so it's pretty simple as far as the assembly and the mechanics of it. Here's one of the heads like I'm using in the blueberry patch, and so yeah, it's got a simple nozzle on it, one hole, and you can take it apart and look at it. It screws the nozzle screws off, and there's just a little rubber assembly there that allows X amount of water to go through. The tighter you make it, the less that rubber will flex and let more water in. So again, based upon your pressure, you can get a nice stream or you get a trickle. Since we're gravity feed irrigating, I don't need a big stream. If you look back at that video, you see that I had a decent amount of pressure there from coming off the head. And there's others. There's these type. They're very similar. They're the same type of same concept of the nozzle, but it's got multiple little notches around it, and it's made to push directly into the hose. The black ones go into these little straight adapters, and that's what they give you. They give you a bag of adapters. Here's some T's, so you want to branch off and have multiple connections and those type of things. And then even hose, if you want to step up to different size hoses, you can do that. One thing I want to point out is your hose. The kit came with maybe 100 feet of hose or 50 feet. To be honest with you, I don't remember. But it came with this black hose that's slick. And I don't know if you can tell on the camera there the sheen of that. I'll get a close-up of it, but it's got a nice slick sheen to it, so it looks shiny and fancy. The thing about this is when you go to put these attachments together, these 90-degree pieces and T's and the nozzles that attach to that, and of course you're pushing up over this nipple that's going to have a little biting edge to it. Well, what I discovered is on a cool day like today, that's not going to push on very easily. On a warm day, sunny, then it's going to be a little more flexible. But don't get it wet, because it's almost impossible to push it up when your hands are wet. So when I wanted to get more hose, this was just some extra that I had from my first run. I got on Amazon and looked, in Rainbird you could buy the 1/4-inch tubing for, this was 250 feet. I think I got this for 25 bucks. So there's 250 feet of tubing. Now obviously this is dirty because I've been running over it, but the neat thing about this is it's not a glossy sheen. It's not super slick. It actually has some grip to it. So when you go to push your attachments on there, it's easier to grab this. So again, you definitely get what you pay for in this situation. Rainbird's a better brand. All of the attachments that Rainbird has that are like these are about double the price, maybe even triple the price. So we'll see how it goes. I may regret putting all this in. Again, I spent 25 bucks and then another 25 bucks for that hose, so it's not like I'm out a ton of money, and it worked for the first year. But that's what we use there. All right, so we're going to plant a little bit of grass seed here on our pasture. This is a pig pasture that it wore out pretty good. Like I said, this, as I mentioned in previous episodes, we're getting our schedule right on our hogs, so we won't have hogs on pasture in the middle of the winter. And this is what winter on pasture looks like when you have 25 hungry mouths running around and there's no growth coming back. You can see what they do there. They really tear up a lot of stuff, really slow the pasture down as far as recovering this time of year. A little bit of green starting to come back, but we're going to give it a boost with some reseeding. Obviously hillsides like this, it causes erosion issues too. So the fact that we're going to have this year, we're going to have hogs finish in October, then we should be able to keep our pasture in better shape. So I'm anxious to give this a shot here. Now what we're trying, I was debating whether or not to try different patches and different grass seeds so I could get an idea of what works best and kind of do a little test there, grid off some areas. But after going to my feed store and talking to them, I really like this cattle pasture mix that they had, and has 3 different types of grasses: Timothy, Orchard, Kentucky Fescue, and then even has clover. Has 2 different types of clover in it. I think there are 6 or 7 different seed types in it. So I thought, well, you know, that obviously makes the most sense. So nobody has a hog pasture grass mix, no such animal. So we're going to try this and give it a go on the pasture and see how it goes.